Well, good afternoon to you all, and tonight we have the match between Just Another Victim and Shit Kickers Anonymous. Just Another Victim have recently reformed their whole team after the majority of players left to Night Stalkers, and have done successfully well in rebuilding their whole core team. But I think it's going to be a close match tonight, as we are going to be playing on the map of Breach, I think it is. S.K.A, how do you think this match is going to turn out?
I reckon it's going to be a pretty close one. I don't think S.K.A has won a lot of games on the ladder, and this is JaV's first game, but yeah, I think it's going to be quite a close game.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how JaV really work as a team, whether or not they really work well together, or whether or not they play like a team that has just literally got together in the last few weeks. As we take a look at the teams for Just Another Victim, we have Matza, Red Wings, Wildfire, Crowbar, and also one left to come in, who I'm not sure who that is. On the other side, we have Mikey, Stealth, Bones, Trooper, and also someone else who I'm yet to figure out who that is. Who do you think are going to be the most influential players, Ecstasy?
The only one I know of is the Red Wings guy, because he added me as a friend on Steam, so I'm going to say him.
Yeah, well, he does play some pretty good matches sometimes, but he's really going to have to really kick it up a gear, I think, tonight. Jack playing for S.K.A, I think, is a bit of a surprise. I don't think that's going to be too advantageous for the S.K.A side. Other than that, Sixer, can you see anyone who will be of potential tonight?
Well, I reckon if Mutza plays anything like he has been lately on pub, he could get a few really important kills, which could open up the whole game. But I noticed, I just checked CG, and S.K.A has actually won 3 games, so I'm keen to see how they go.
So the first round is live at this stage, and we're just looking around to see how these guys are setting up. Pretty stock standard for the assault side as JaV start on the offensive team. Got 2 east, 1 central, and 2 west. On the other side, we have a similar sort of thing. 2 at the bottom, central bottom, I should say. Central bottom west, I should say. 1 top east, 1 on the flag, and 1 top west as well. So it's a pretty slow start to the game as we have a look at Red Wings. Trooper taking down Crowbar, and he can't be revived. Obviously, the new rules have recently been applied to the competition. No revives after any kills whatsoever, as we see Red Wings pushing up to the east side. Pushing through Boiler, and is really aggressive, gone basically by himself. Trooper not really expecting it, gets taken out, and he's now got a teammate in Matza, who's pushing to bottom central. Now it's open for JaV to go through, but Bones has rotated really well, and Red Wings is taken down. 3 left, 3 versus 4, I should say, for the in favour of the defending team, which is S.K.A, as Deviant takes out Jack. So now it's a 3v3 situation, and Matza pretty lucky to escape that one as he gets repelled basically down the boiler area. Mikey and Stealth taking out 2 at once, and now it's just a 3-on-1 situation. Of course, no one can be revived after they get killed, so it's going to be interesting to see how Matza is going to play this. Sixer, how do you think Matza is going to really... Can he win it from here? It's first round, but can he win it?
I think it all depends on if he crumbles under pressure. If he keeps it together and doesn't, you know, crack. He needs to get at least 1 pick pretty soon, because he's only got a minute left. So we'll see how we go.
As also part of the new rules, there is only 2 minutes on the clock for each round, and I
think that actually hasn't gone in yet. Yeah.
Oh,
it used to be 3:30, but now it's 3 at the moment. It's meant to be 2:30. We've agreed on 2:30, but I don't think Raffic's changed it yet.
Okay, so 3 minutes is the round time. The new rules are in regards to time yet to come into effect, but it looks like the first round going to the S.K.A team pretty stock standard, as this I think is a more defensive side of map than anything. Matza again trying to control that west rush, as Crowbar and Deviant both get kills in the same time. At the same time, Red Wings really just holding that bottom area, and he's just spotted Bones, who's pushed down to the west bottom, obviously rotating due to the 2 frags on the west side. Gonna have a look here at Deviant, who's just pushed down through west bottom, And he's going to go alone here to try and maybe pick out one of the enemies. As you can see, Bones on the other side of that wall. Looks like he's going to push with basically no one helping him, so it's going to be a pretty easy kill for Bones, and he converts very, very well. On the other side, however, it's now a 2-on-4 situation in favour of just another victim. Mutza getting a central bottom, and he's going to get the flag, and Crowbar getting the last kill against Mikey for a win to the assaulting team. Well, the honours are actually pretty interesting at this point in time. You can see that Red Wings are the only one above 20 for JaV, and on the other hand, on the other side of the coin, we actually have a pretty experienced team for the S.K.A side. Most of them around the 20 mark, with Mikey the only one over 20. So if we were to judge by honours, maybe probably S.K.A should have this in the bag, but we can see a pretty skilled team on the JaV side. So we can see they're really just trying to push and hold. Sorry, they're just trying to hold west at this point in time. As Deviant trying to get another pick here. Can you guys see anything in terms of what's happening macro? Is there anything happening that's just happening over and over with every single round, or is there something that you can, any patterns that you can see as Deviant takes out Bones and tries to pick unnecessarily? Sixer?
Well, I feel like the S.K.A is probably pushing out a little bit too hard, and JaV are getting those easy picks off, and it's just spreading them out, making it easier to move in.
As Stealth
they need to keep it balanced.
Yeah, and I find sometimes this map can be really, really defensive or really aggressive, especially when you're on defense, because you're always stuck in that defensive building, and you've got nowhere really to go. As it looks like they're going to try a central and east push. Quite a few guys on the eastern side of the map, as Mutza takes down Trooper. A 4-on-2 situation, as Mutza's just trying to wall back that area. He's got a mate in, and they've just pushed up past the, or in the front room basically. And this is going to be an interesting choice of move here, as Deviant has pushed up central bottom, and Jack is in a terrible position. I don't really know how much he's taken out, but now Mikey tries to push out Mutza, and in the end, not really much help here. So JaV taking on another round onto Assault, and I think, do you guys think this is a more defensive sided map or a more assault sided map?
I feel it's a very defense-biased map just by the few scrims I've played from it. Also, I feel like the east side for S.K.A is incredibly weak. They're stacking one guy on top of the stairwell who's playing incredibly aggressive, and the other guys all just fall back on the flag. I think JaV have finally worked it out, which is why they're just continuously putting 2-3 guys there. Their west hold's strong, but again, if they're going to keep picking windows like that, they're going to keep getting picked up by JaV, who are just playing it really passive at the start for a good two minutes about until they decide to push it. Just because you can, it's only one building, you can take that time at the front, which is probably why it should be 2 minutes, but oh well. S.K.A finally fixed it up and decided to stack 2 guys inside the boiler room, but I don't feel it's going to help if JaV just played a slow game of pick and pull.
As I think that's a good point actually, because boiler can be a really, really easy place to breach, but you need that coordination with the teammates, otherwise it's a pretty easy frag at that point. As we have a look, Deviant has just been suppressed slightly as Wildfire has pushed west. They are playing a pretty slow game on the JaV side, but it will all come to head as Wildfire are very, very lucky to not get naded. He got flashed, and I think he's been taken out by Deviant. Oh, sorry, Jack. As these guys are still alive, and Crowbar getting a really good pick, very, very tight line, and manages to take out one of the S.K.A team. It's a 1-on-4 situation, and Bones doing well to take out the last guy on JaV's side. So they bring it back to a 2-all scoreline, and it looks like there haven't been too many outstanding players at this point in time, though it is quite early in the match. My pick would probably be Wildfire, who's actually at the moment 0-2 at this stage. But he has been playing pretty good in pub, and of Mutsa, as Sixer mentioned before the match started, I think he'll be a pretty interesting person to watch, as Trooper just really nonchalantly pushing through to East without really caring if he gets hit. And Crowbar's going to be taken out, or promised too much. Crowbar survives, but Red Wings doesn't. Trooper doing well on the eastern side and pushing out a bit more aggressively as opposed to last round where they stood really defensive, almost in the flag room. On the other side, however, we have Wildfire, who's just going to try and avenge the death of his teammate, and he does successfully in getting Trooper with a headshot. Obviously, one shot to the head is a death immediately. The S.K.A guys have rotated around, Deviant getting another frag on Nike. And Wildfire, I think, doing pretty well to stay alive at this stage. And he might be taken out, and he is by a frag from Bones. So a 2-on-3 situation, and I think it's just a numbers game here. You can defend the defensive area, I think, with 3 players. But it's whether or not they can coordinate that, as it looks like the JaV guys are going to try and push east. As you see them both stacking around the east boiler. Crowbar is pushing in, but looks like Bones is going to come down the stairs, and Bones gets taken out by Deviant. So now a 2-on-2 situation. I think he was just overextended a little bit, and as a result, for that undisciplined move, he got punished severely. So a 2-on-2 situation with 1 minute 20 on the clock. Crowbar and Deviant, the last 2 guys left, and it looks like now they're going to still try and coordinate that bottom and east push. Deviant on the ground proning, and we've seen this quite substantially throughout some of the matches that we've had, obviously pioneered by the Zip Tie Bandit team. So Crowbar, the last guy crawling, and they have the S.K.A guys have no idea that Crowbar is there. He's got 50 seconds to make a push, which is enough time on this map. It only takes 10 seconds to get to the extraction with the flag. But Crowbar, looking at the wrong area, gets taken out by Stealth. So 2-3 is the scoreline to JaV at this stage. And Stealth, the guy on the defensive side with a bit more of an impact than the rest of his teammates. Sixer, can you see anything that S.K.A are doing wrong at this stage?
Doing wrong? Well, I saw one of the other previous rounds, I think it was not the last one, the one before, Bones and I think it was Trooper were covering the exact same spot in Boiler, and they just got lucky that Red Wings sort of caked it and didn't kill them off. But other than that, they're doing pretty good holds. I think at the beginning they were poking out a bit too much, and now they seem to really be waiting in there.
Yeah, I think you either have to, on this map, you have to either be one or the other, in my opinion. I think you can't be peeking and be half aggressive, half defensive. You either have to be fully aggressive or fully defensive. There's no in-between, and there's no room for mistakes. And it's very tempting to try and peek out of those windows. But if you do that, well, you run the risk of getting taken out. As we have a look, it looks like they're going to push west. Mutsa and Deviant working pretty well, and this could hurt someone here as a nade is going through to the western bottom area of the map. Hasn't got anyone in particular just yet, as much as just really trying to breach his way through. Deviant getting another kill on an enemy, and he's just pushed up here, and all of the JaV guys have now moved in. They've taken control of the bottom area of the map, as we see Mutsa #1 position, in prime position to take out Trooper. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the kill, but his mate Deviant does. And it's all come to a quick end.
Deviant with a team down.
Yeah, all come to a very quick end here, with the JaV guys taking out another round.
That's crucial. Nearly any single competitive team-based FPS is just when you're on attack is to just have one player really sort of just step up to the plate and get an entry frag. Playing on an incredibly defense-biased map, which this is, an entry frag here to just sort of loosen up the defenders, make them move around, make them sort of adjust their spots is really all you need to sort of get the advantage, or just get all 5 down in 30 seconds and win the round.
Yeah, and it's interesting to say that, XC, because you do have one redundancy on defense. So there's 4 entrances to the defensive compound, and if you can cover all those 4, even with a man down 5v4, you still have a pretty good chance, as Red Wing just takes him out spectacularly with a nade. He's just going to go Rambo here, as you can see. He might get taken out by Trooper. Trooper unlucky, or just unskilled, in the fact that he just couldn't get Red Wings, but they've pushed him back outside the defensive compound, and that's probably a good move. 3-on-5 situation with Red Wings on 11% health, 10% I should say. JaV just going in together at the same time, or just getting the better shooting positions and areas. Mutsa nearly taking out the guy at the top west in Bone. And Mutsa's gonna have, well, he should have had an easy frag there. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the kill, runs out of ammo. 2-on-4 situation, and it looks like Mutsa taking out Bones is a critical kill. 1-on-4, and Trooper's the last guy left guarding the flag. This should be an easy win for the JaV team. All they need to do is coordinate it. Trooper's looking like he's going to abandon the flag and try and waste some time as JaV try and breach that area. But he's going to run into Mutsa, but takes him out spectacularly. A 1-on-2 situation, and now JaV have no idea where Trooper is. He needs to use the advantage, that advantage well, as the flag hasn't even been picked up yet. Red Wings, oh sorry, Deviant taking out Trooper. And unlucky for Trooper, just probably didn't cover himself enough, and Deviant taking full advantage of that. So the other change to the competitive settings is that it's now best out of 20 instead of best out of 16. So halftime occurs at after the 10th round. As we have a look. Just going to see how these guys are setting up at this point in time. Yeah, pretty stock standard. 2 west, 2 east, and 1 central for the Salt side. A lot of spam and wallbangs going. As we saw last round, Mutsa or Deviant, one of those two really spamming through one of those blocked out windows in an attempt to get someone, and almost doing so successfully. They looks like they're going to reach out and push east at this stage, as Red Wings gets ready for a frag. Trooper not hurt in that frag, but doesn't get the effective kill on Red Wings. Looks like they're just trying to play it pretty slow on the east side, as Bones takes out Wildfire, who's I think been ineffective at this point in time playing central. Red Wings just really breaching in as his teammate helped him flash Crowbar, the other guy on the eastern side, as Mutsa takes out Jack. A 4-on-2 situation, as Red Wings lucky to survive that. Deviant taking out the last guy in Mikey. So JaV are starting to run away with this at this point in time. Ecstasy, can you really think of what can S.K.A do to really bring this back?
They need to lock down Boiler a lot more than what they are, and they're playing one guy lower floor, which I don't think they need to. The guy who's sitting on the west side, who's guarding, is it the west side? No, the east side, the top floor east side. He can comm when. No, sorry, it is the west side, top floor defensive side. He can comm when he hears someone lower. You don't need the guy lower sort of just peeking out, watching that window. You can have two hold that main door, and then he can fall back, because that's just a basic corner room that you can nail later on, and it's not too crucial. They get it. But they need to focus 2 in the mid, 2 on the east, and only 1 on the west comming with sound, because you just can't move around without sound in this game. So it's sort of easy to have one player holding a less crucial spot and rely on the sound than it is to have 2 guys wasted there for a minute and a half while they push Boiler.
Yeah, and I think also if you push Boiler, it can be very, very exposed to nades, especially with these new rule set. You're going to get players that are going to get fragged very, very easily if they don't mind their positions. Crowbar breaching into the east boiler, I should say, and doing so, getting down into the front alley. Bones anticipating the move, takes out Crowbar spectacularly. Now it's a 4-on-2 situation. Trooper takes out Red Wings, and Mutsa taking out Trooper in a trade-off, and now goes to a 3-0, 3 versus 0 players as JaV take out another round. So 6v3, and I think JaV are starting to really pick up the pace here. Sixer, have you noticed anything in terms of how they play in terms of their pace? Well,
I'm personally surprised that Deviant's performance is doing quite well. So he could be a real key player for them if he keeps this up. He's getting those early picks, and what they're actually doing is that fluid. They're keeping the momentum. One gets a pick in, and they all move in, and that's something that you can't really calm. They just have to work together.
And it's interesting you mentioned that, Sixer, because remember, this is the first game for many of the JaV players as the match is paused for a particular reason. Mikey's just obviously leaving, as you can see in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Yeah, Deviant, Matza, and Crowbar and Wildfire, all are new players. So Red Wing's the captain, the only guy who's really played comp, and even then he hasn't played with these guys too much. So it's interesting to see that, and interesting to note that they actually are working quite well as a team, even though they've only played, or well, this is their only match together so far in the season. I'm not entirely sure what's happening with Mikey. He's just coming in, I think, after restarting his game. Just as we take a quick break, at this point in time, this week we have Team Overrated taking on Impervious Esports on Thursday night, and also Clutch Gaming of Australia have been challenged by Zip Tie Bandits. So it's going to be a pretty exciting week in the for the CG ladder for America's Army Proving Grounds. That last match, Clutch versus Zip Tie Bandits, is going to be an absolute cracker, and hopefully we'll have a cast for that one way or another. As it looks like the match has been unpaused and we're live back again. 5-on-4 situation, of course, as the team that withdrew its player cannot restart the round, at least at this point in time.
Is that part of the rules, or is it just because of the admin settings not being up to scratch?
It's just the only way that you can do it at the moment. It's the only fair way unless you restart the whole thing.
Yeah, cool.
It's just the way we've decided on doing it. Until we get a tournament mode.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Just checking that wasn't some stupid rule that I wasn't around to say no to.
So Deviant has really pushed bottom west, I should say, and looks like S.K.A are being very, very defensive. They have given up on the central bottom area and guarding that area, which Ecstasy alluded to earlier in the cast. So JaV have total control of this bottom area of the map, as we see Red Wings getting taken out by Stealth and Crowbar as well. So the east side is completely open to the S.K.A team if they decide to push out east. I don't think that's going to happen as Matza takes out Jack. And Deviant now has the advantage as he's chasing Stealth, does well, and another round going to the JaV side. So at half-time, it's 7-3 in favour of the challenging team in Just Another Victim. Well, as we change sides, do you think this is going to change how the teams play? Obviously, some teams are more suited to assault than defense. Obviously, some teams are more suited to assault than defense. So, do you think this change in halftime is going to bring back S.K.A, Sixer?
I think there's an opportunity for it because I know you both mentioned that it is defense favoured, and I do agree. But the one thing that this map doesn't have that most others do is there's not really a lot of opportunity to see where everyone's going and to try and change the way you're playing. So you're never really seeing, you can't say there's 2 going east, 3 going west. You're sort of sitting there waiting on your line, and if you poke, you're taking up that risk of getting dropped.
That's exactly what happened to Matza. It looks like it's going 3 east and 2 west for the assaulting side, who are blue, light blue. And a 4-on-5 situation, and Matza getting taken out by Trooper in a pretty good pick. They are very, very stationary at this point in time with a pretty standard setup for the defensive side. 1 on central stairs, 1 on the boiler, and 1 top west and 1 bottom west for the JaV side. 5-on-4 situation, and it looks like they're going to at least try and breach west at this point in time. Bones the guy on the western side. But again, it's been played pretty slowly. First round, they're going to try and figure out where everyone is. But most of the defensive guys are inside, so they won't be able to figure too much out at this point in time with their current positions. It looks like the call has gone out and all the East guys are starting to push out, or their stealth has rotated to bottom central in a more conventional setup. Bones taking out Wildfire in a pretty good frag. 5-on-3 situation here, and now it's really up to the attacking team to bring home the bacon as Bones nearly gets picked out by from central stairs and nearly gets taken out by a frag. Remember, you can't be revived after you die by a frag, so teams play a little bit more conservatively in comparison to past matches so far. So Mikey, at this point in time, one of the only 2 guys left, and it's a 2-on-2 situation as Crowbar gets taken out. Mikey is bottom central, and Bones is also just outside Boiler at this point in time. A 2-on-2 situation. Red Wings is on the flag watching it, and Deviant is doing similarly, watching the central stairs. 43 seconds left, and they need to make a move here. It only takes about 10 seconds to get from the flag position to the extraction, but in saying that, teams are going to have to teams are going to be held up by any resistance. As
just missed him.
Bones takes a kill. A 2-on-1 situation. Deviant is the last guy left and Bones with the flag. And Deviant has moved to a pretty good position and takes out Bones pretty well. 1-on-1 situation. Mikey failing to cover his teammate. Probably didn't get the best line there as his teammate was exposed. As 1-on-1 situation, and Deviant has done well there. 1 second on the clock and he ran away. And a good win there for the JaV side after S.K.A took the flag.
Yeah, crucial pickup. A 2v1 situation, not a lot of time on the board. Gets the flag bearer, then just sort of just shoots enough to distract the other guy watching him, just to stall the timer until he can win the round comfortably. Very crucial play.
And that's
it's just awareness of the timer. Yeah, just awareness of the timer.
And that's really, really important in this game. You can't just be a good shooter. You need to be able to think for yourself and be able to move in accordance with your teammates. As Crowbar looks like he's going to try and get another pick, which is probably going to be a big mistake. And Trooper taking him out, exactly what he did to another one of his teammates last round. As Trooper has done well he's quite good with those mid to long range picks, I find, and he can be quite a bit of a danger if JaV continue to keep poking out on that east top boiler side. 5-on-4 situation, similar to last round. Pretty slow again, as we see how they're setting up. This time, it looks basically the same, as I don't know what Jack is doing at this stage. He's just maybe watching the back of Trooper, but I think that's basically a redundant position at this point in time, given how defensive JaV are playing. However, he doesn't know that, obviously, so he's done well. I guess he's done well to just at least cover his teammate. 5-on-4 situation, and I'm struggling to locate the last guy. Oh, there he is. Similar format and structure to last round for the S.K.A side. 3 on the east and 2 on the west. Bones very, very deep, as you can see in the west area, and he's just going to listen out for anyone that's going to come into that area. It'll be interesting to see how JaV has set up, whether or not they've just abandoned that bottom area. They haven't. They've given Wildfire the job of taking central bottom, and this is a problem here because he can get taken out from west bottom if S.K.A push aggressively. But for now, actually, sorry, I should say that his teammate in Red Wings is watching the west bottom area. So some good teamwork and some good crossfire and lines there. As Trooper takes out Matza. Again, the first 2 frags of the 2 rounds on assault for S.K.A. So Trooper doing well and carrying his own, as he's trying to try and start being a little bit more aggressive with teammates right behind him. Deviant can be wallbanged from this position, and Trooper hasn't seen him just yet. He has now, and Deviant now running away. His mate, Trooper's mate in Jack, is going to try and breach that area. And he's not really having too much of an effect just at this point in time. Stealth getting a kill, and Bones similarly, as Jack is just completely disorientated, but Mikey coming in to save his bacon. And another round to the S.K.A side.
First round.
Oh yeah, sorry.
They lost the 2v1, yeah.
Yeah,
but this is solely on JaV playing so stock standard and passive. S.K.A are slowly pushing up, which is another thing with the 3-minute rounds. But they're not using any of their nades or any of their flashes. They're just slowly picking the spots. They wait until they know they're doing their defensive strategy, and they just nade all the corners. JaV need to mix it up. They need to just have one round where they pick all the windows, all the aggression spots, keep S.K.A back for a good... Even if you don't win the round, you scare them in knowing that you can do that. So they're not going to just play this game where they can... They tried to do it there, but they're not. They have to do it across the board. I feel like they have to just put pressure on all over the map. So S.K.A are just too scared to move in for a good minute and a half.
And that's what I mean. Like we noticed that, well, very well, the fact that the 3 minutes or the longer timer on this map makes it actually harder for defense, because you find yourself sitting there doing nothing for so long, and it can get quite tedious.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point that you bring up, Sixer, because I think it just comes down to discipline and whether or not team members have that ability to just sit in there and watch their lines and not poke out. If the call has been made to not poke out, to just watch their lines and to not poke. And obviously, Trooper getting another kill, the 3 times in 3 rounds on assault for Trooper, as it looks like the call's gone out to push east as Crowbar takes out Troopers pretty successfully. Jack is going to try and come in and nade, or flash I should say, but it's not been that successful just yet. Still 3 on the east side, and I think 1 is just on the central area. Jack just getting into that, in between those boilers, but is not going to make too much of a difference in that position. He's pushed up now, and Bones, the last guy, holding central and west together. That's going to be a pretty big feat if he can achieve that. And Jack is just taken out by Crowbar, and does so similarly to Mikey. A 2-on-4 situation as Bones just saw Wildfire and goes back for another pick. Wildfire anticipating that and taking care of whoever that was, which I think was Bones, I think. Just mental blank there. Stealth is going to be surrounded here by a few enemies, and it's going to be a problem as Red Wings taking the initiative and flanking into the spawn of the assaulting side. So it's one more. JaV need 1 more round to draw and 2 rounds to win. Deviant and Mutsa, as you can see on that side, really the outstanding players for JaV, and Trooper and Bones, the 2 on the S.K.A side, who are holding their own at this stage. So another round, and it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be a pretty stock standard again for assault, as Trooper's going to try and get another pick.
Aggressive by JaV.
JaV has really pushed out. I think Red Wings pushed out too much and didn't get that pick. Trooper just using this ledge to try and get a bit more of a steady recall control. But I think JaV have really learnt their lesson now. 3 times in 3 rounds, Trooper's got to kill East top boiler, and this time JaV have just been really defensive on that eastern side.
I don't get this. Sorry for interrupting me. I just don't get this 1-man, 2-man aggression that JaV are trying to throw out. Like, yeah, okay, you got a lot of rounds to play with, and you want to test the air waters. But if they're going to have one guy running out like that, why not just send 4? Like, why not send 5? Or like, not from the same door, obviously, but just play aggressive all over the map. Like, it's just silly to send one guy out into 5 that you know are running the exact same direction as that, or across the middle open map, and he's just gonna die. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I actually spoke to Mutsa before this game, and I said, if you're gonna do a push, or you're gonna do a forward round as defense, you need to all do it. And you know, they didn't.
I don't know. It's very sort of basic hold. Yeah, you know, so it's working for him, but I think if they're going to verse a high-quality team, I'm not saying S.K.A aren't, I'm just saying if they're going to verse a team with a little bit more aim, they need to start sending more out when they do that. Otherwise, they're going to get punished even more for it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, yeah, the fact that you're saying should be, you know, the whole team doing the one, you know, brand of game, you know, either being really aggressive or really defensive.
Yeah, same mindset for the whole team.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because you might not, you know, get a kill if you're being aggressive, but you might suppress your enemy and help your teammate across the map. So,
well, S.K.A have used this. They knew that Mutsa was playing lower west that round, and as soon as he's died, they pushed 3 in there. 2 went up. 2 went down and 1 went up, and they took one side of the whole map solely on one player playing silly,
and
which lost them around.
Crowbar getting in an interesting position and took out 2 enemies at the end on top of East Boiler. but unfortunately the flag had been taken, and it got taken out in the end just due to a weight of numbers. As we're going to see whether or not JaV or Red Wings tries to do the same thing. I know Red Wings can be a little bit Rambo-ish, and sometimes that can be a detriment to the team, as Ecstasy alluded to at the start of the round. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Red Wings does the same thing. And it looks like he's going to be a bit more defensive, as you see a 4-stack on the eastern side, with Trooper again holding his favourite position in the ledge, trying to get a pick. He hasn't hit anyone just yet. And Deviant finally getting a pick on Trooper. Trooper just had no idea that that Deviant was top boiler. Now Jack is just going to try and re-pick that area, and I don't think that's the smartest idea. Bones on the western side, and oh, Mutsa just wall-banging Bones in a pretty good shot there. You can get picked from that particular area. Jack struggling to control his recall at this point in time, as you can see. A 3-on-5 situation, and all JaV need to do is just hold their area, which I don't think they did, as Stealth gets to pick on Deviant. And I don't know where that nade is going to go for Stealth, but it doesn't do too much damage to anyone at this stage. Stealth is going to be a bit more vulnerable to that window line, which he's now looking at right now, as it looks like the JaV guys have made the call to try and push out west in that particular area. As we have a look, Red Wings has moved slightly out, and now he's been a bit more aggressive, trying to get that pick across the map. Unfortunately, doesn't do so, but he's got the surprise awaiting as he rotates and tries to flank. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not any of the team on the S.K.A. side notice that, or whether or not they...
Yeah, they're aware of it. Yeah, they know he's doing it. Mikey's sound listening to him. The only thing is that Crowbar pushed out and stayed in the exact same spot for the first minute. They're aware where Red Wings is, so they know there's only 2 on the side. If they wanted to right now, they could play aggressive on the flag and probably take it quite easily.
Yeah, and that's just something that I think teams need to just get used to. Being able to identify where a player is, and if he's out of position, take advantage of that. Don't just try and play slow and like the S.K.A. guys are doing right now. And it's just going to really nullify the fact that there's a JaV guy out of position, and at this point in time, there's not much that's happening for the S.K.A. team, that they're not trying to take advantage of that. So it'd be interesting to see. Mikey's going to try and get a pick here, and does so successfully on Wildfire. The flag is now open with only one guy in the flag in Mutsa, and he's looking at central bottom. Stealth trying to push in as well. And Stealth has grabbed the flag. They're pushing out east. Be interesting to see where Red Wings is right now. He's central, on the extraction, as you can see. Mikey pushing. Mutsa getting a kill there, and I don't think that should necessarily happen in Jack. Jack's going to get a kill as well, hopefully. And it's all gone to pieces here for the S.K.A. side, as Jack is struggling to contain Red Wings at this point in time. Really should have made that kill count, and Mutsa coming around from the back.
They knew he was there.
Takes out Jack.
He was there. That was a bit silly.
Yeah, I think that all came apart as soon as they got the flag. They just didn't really coordinate their areas. I didn't see any smoke come out, which is interesting to note, given that, you know, you just need to destroy 1 or 2 lines on breach with smoke, and that's the end of the match, or end of the round, I should say.
Well, no team's even running smokes. They've all got flashes.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between the really top tier teams and the mid tier teams. We saw on Inner Hospi, TL versus Clutch. Clutch using smokes very, very effectively in that central area, completely killing any line that any of the TL guys could have on defense, and that really punished them and left them pretty stranded for the rest of the match. Pretty standard setup here, back on the actual match that's happening right now in front of us. Deviant's pushed out into East Boiler, and Wildfire getting picked off by Stealth at this point in time. Stealth is at the moment bottom, just on the rock. Crowbar getting taken out by Trooper. Again, I think they've forgotten that Trooper has just held that line atop East Boiler to northeastern stairs, and they've been punished for that at this point in time. A 3-on-4 situation. They need to move in together, S.K.A., if they're going to try and salvage this match, with a match point going to JaV at this stage. Jack getting picked off by Deviant. And now it's a 3-on-3 situation. It looks like just S.K.A. going in one at a time, and it's just going to be really easy, especially for a team like JaV, who have that better and superior shooting ability to really just make teams pay. Red Wings the last, taking out the second last guy in stealth, and I wouldn't be surprised here if Red Wings moves into position to take out Trooper, which is exactly what is happening. Trooper is, he's rotated back, Red Wings has, and I think that's a pretty good move in the end, as he's only on 8% health. And Mutzer taking out the last guy for Trooper. So in the end, it's a win to just another victim after S.K.A failed to defend their spot and are now 8th on the ladder. So good games here to both teams. S.K.A and S.K.A first, where do you think both teams could improve for the next match?
Well, I think that S.K.A they didn't move as a team. They didn't look very fluent on the attacking side. I think JaV had a bit of a communication issue on some of the rounds as well. But I think they both just need to figure out how to play the map. It isn't exactly an easy map to play. I wouldn't have picked it, to be honest. And the timer thing would make a huge difference, I reckon.
XC, any points that you saw during the match?
Not just for S.K.A or JaV, but any team willing or wanting to improve. Communication is the be-all and end-all of competitive FPS. If you can't communicate or have chemistry with your team, you're going to lose every single game against anyone with decent aim. Both teams sort of made a few mistakes. I didn't like Red Wings' solo aggression. I didn't like S.K.A's sort of passive non-communicational start. But at the end of the day, it's a new game. It's new maps. It's hard to have chemistry, especially with JaV forming a new team. S.K.A maybe not practicing at all, if not enough. But yeah, if you want to compete, you need to have chemistry and you need to practice it.
Yeah, and I think it was surprising. I don't think it was just the superior shooting of JaV. I think they just really worked well as a team, and Red Wings as captain, I think, will be pretty pleased with the effort of the JaV side. I thought it was going to be...
He's captain, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is.
Well, he needs to be a lot more direct with his aggressive. Like, if he's going to do those solo pushes, he needs to tell his whole team to do it as well.
Yeah, and
who would you vote MVP for the game?
Oh, just Deviant for his attack picks. Like, he's single-handedly broke S.K.A maybe 3-4 rounds. And,
yeah, I'd agree.
In a competitive match, when you're playing a more defense-biased map, that's game-winning.
So as you can see, Deviant on 21 kills to 9 deaths. Obviously, kill-death ratio is not the be-all and end-all of AA. You have to have a lot more than just a good shot on you to win.
It's all about the frags.
But he's done well, I think, and Red Wings similarly, but I think he, like you said, XC, was a bit undisciplined in certain areas of the map.
Oh, it's not even undisciplined. Like, if you want to play aggressive, I think aggression on defense, one of the strongest thing a defensive team can do. It's probably, if you have a rehearsed aggression strat, it can destroy an attacking team's focus for the next 4 or 5 rounds. But if he wants to do it, he needs his whole team to back him up, and he needs to sort of communicate to his team to do it, not just run out there, hold one spot, die, and then be like, oh, well, there's 3 over there, guys. Yeah,
so obviously some points from both XC and S.K.A to work on. On Thursday night, we have Overrated, which is Ecstasy's, or Injections and Ecstasy's team.
That's Team Australia.
Taking on Impervious Esports. I think that will be a pretty comprehensive win to the Overrated side, who've only just formed in the last week, taking some great players, picking up some great players, I should say, in Raisin, Kings, and also Injection. So it looks like it's going to be a really, really, really good match to see how these Overrated guys work together. I've scrimmed with them once, and I can tell you right now they are top class. So they are, I think, going to be a pretty big challenge for Clutch come the end of the season when the challenges start to fire up. So tonight it was S.K.A unsuccessfully defending their 7th spot on the ladder. S.K.A 5, JaV 14.